All right, today we're going to tackle one of the most personal and, I think, powerful arguments for God's existence. It's called the moral argument. We're going to unpack this idea that our deep, gut-level sense of right and wrong might actually be a signpost pointing toward a divine source.
So let me just start by asking you a question. Is torturing an innocent child, just for fun, wrong? I mean, not just that you don't like it or that society frowns on it, but is it truly, objectively wrong? Yeah, I think pretty much everyone would say yes, absolutely. That feeling right there, that gut instinct, that some things are just wrong no matter what, that's the heart of the entire argument we're going to explore today.
So to really build this case, we have to get super clear on one key idea first, and that is the concept of objective morality. Think of it like this. There are two totally different ways we use the word good. On the one hand, you've got subjective good. That's just your opinion, your preference. I think chocolate ice cream is the best. You might think it's vanilla. Neither of us is really right or wrong. But then, on the other hand, you have objective good, a truth that's true for everyone, everywhere, whether they believe it or not.
And that brings us to the main definition. Objective morality is the belief that some actions are just plain right or wrong, full stop. And here's the most important takeaway. If morality is objective, it means the Holocaust would still have been evil even if the Nazis had won the war and brainwashed every last person on the planet into thinking it was a good thing. It's a standard that exists completely outside of us.
Okay, so once we've got that definition locked in, the moral argument itself is actually incredibly simple. It's a straightforward, logical argument with just two main points.
And here it is. It's a classic piece of logic. Premise 1 says that, look, if there's no God, then what we call morality is really just personal opinion, or what our society agrees on, or maybe some instinct that helped our ancestors survive. None of those things can make something truly, objectively wrong. Then premise 2 just states what we talked about a second ago, that yeah, objective morals do exist. We know they do. And if both of those premises are true, well, the conclusion just follows logically. Therefore, God exists. Now hang on, we have to pause here for a really important clarification. This argument is not saying that atheists can't be good people. Of course they can. We all know wonderful moral people who don't believe in God. The question isn't about belief in God, it's about the existence of God. It's asking, if God doesn't actually exist, what is the foundation for goodness itself? Where does that objective standard even come from? Naturally, an argument this big has faced some serious pushback over the years, and probably the most famous, most powerful challenge goes all the way back to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. It's known as the Euthyphro Dilemma. So the dilemma hits you with this really sharp question that seems to trap the whole idea. It asks, is something good because God says so, or does God say so because it's already good on its own? It feels like you have to pick one or the other. And this is why it's so clever. Because either answer seems to create a huge problem. I mean, if things are only good because God commands them, then morality is totally arbitrary. God could have commanded us to be cruel, and that would have been good. That just feels wrong. But if God commands things because they're already good, then it means goodness is some standard outside of God, maybe even above God. And if that's the case, then who needs God for objective morality? For literally centuries, that dilemma felt like a total knockout punch to the argument. But theologians and philosophers who defend the moral argument say, wait a minute, this isn't a real dilemma. They say there's a third way out. The response is that the whole question is a false dilemma. It's trying to force you into one of two boxes, arbitrary commands or an external standard, when those aren't the only two options that exist. And here it is, the third option. This is the big move that changes the whole game. The idea is that morality isn't something external to God that he has to follow, and it's not something he just makes up on a whim. Instead, morality is grounded in God's own perfect, unchanging nature. God wills something because he is good. His very character is the standard of goodness. This is my absolute favorite way to think about it. A live concert isn't trying to live up to a CD recording, right? It's the other way around. The recording is judged by how well it captures the live performance. In the same way, God isn't trying to conform to some outside standard of goodness. He is the standard. His nature is the original live performance. So this third option solves the dilemma perfectly. God's nature, his love, his justice, his kindness, that is the standard for what good even means. And his commands, which flow from that perfect nature, well, they tell us what is right, what our moral duties are. Okay, so we've been deep in the philosophical weeds here. Why does any of this actually matter in our day-to-day lives? Well, it turns out the real-world implications are massive. If morality is anchored in God's character, then we have a solid, unshakable foundation to fight for things like universal human rights and justice. It means we can look at acts of pure evil and say they are objectively wrong, not just something we don't like. And it suggests that our deep, innate feeling that our lives should have moral purpose isn't just an illusion. It's pointing to something real.
So I'll leave you with this. The next time you feel that fire in your belly, that surge of outrage when you see an injustice, that powerful feeling that something is just plain wrong, just stop and listen to that feeling. This argument suggests that what you're hearing isn't just random brain signals or something society taught you. It's an echo of a transcendent moral law written on the human heart by the source of goodness itself.